Okay, I am live. I wasn't sure if I was going to go live or not, but I'm going to talk about some stuff. Way too much happening, and it made me think about trauma. Because since Saturday, since I was involved at Fred Meyer with the bomb being found in the toilet and evacuation, I was there. That's brought a lot of thoughts in my head. And then there's the school shooting in Colorado, and the beautiful, lovely Ukrainian woman that was murdered, and now Charlie Kirk. Lots of thoughts flowing through my head. I Let me see. I'm kind of at a loss of words or loss of focus as I get the tablet going. But it, I've been watching a lot of my favorite YouTubers. They've also switched their content today to talk about their thoughts on everything that's been happening. And I debated if I should live stream or not. And I thought I should because I'm still going through a lot of thoughts in my head after that bomb scare thing I went through at Fred Meyer on Saturday. It made me think of the poor children at the school shooting in Colorado and teachers. And it made me think of the people in the audience at Charlie Kirk's assassination. And it made me think of people involved and around being on that train with the Ukrainian woman that was murdered. Hey, Soups. Hey, Benny. Rest in peace. Everything that has been happening. Yes, it's made me think of so many things. Talking about how violence leads to long-term trauma, and a lot of the people that have been exposed to all the trauma that's been the violence that's been happening this past week, myself included, just with the I'm going to say silly bomb left in the toilet at the grocery store I was walking into that was evacuated on Saturday. A lot of thoughts go through your head when you're in that situation, instinct thoughts, and it leads to a sort of trauma from the violence. Let me see if this is okay. It's working good. Yes. Hello, Pikachu. Heyo. Reminding us how short life can be. Guns are so cowardice too. Terrorism, says Pikachu. Yes. The situation with the bomb threat at Fred Meyer was the threat. There's an actual bomb discovered in the toilet of the men's rooms. It leaves you with odd trauma that you can't quite shake. The ironic thing of me evacuating Fred Meyer grocery store on Saturday with the bomb that was left in the toilet in the store, we evacuated and left the premise and went across the street to the other grocery store, Safeway. And at that grocery store, Safeway, a few years back, a guy walked in there, shot and killed a customer, and shot up the store, and then turned himself into the Fairbanks Police Department. That has stuck with me too. I don't like going to that grocery store. I just thought it was ironic that how it has affected me with shopping. I don't like shopping at that Safeway store because of the shooting that happened there just a few years back. And so now that Fred Meyer and that Safeway, it holds a level of trauma. So it makes me think of the kids at the Colorado school shooting, how that trauma is going to be with them for the rest of their life. And it's sad. And the people at the Charlie Kirk event, everybody there is going to be having trauma too for the rest of their life. And I don't know, I kind of felt like talking about how these type of events lead to some severe trauma for people that are around it. Now you got some of the crazies that, are applauding it, blah, blah, blah. The press is covering that quite well. But I don't want to cover that because there's always going to be people that react in bizarre ways. I can just say it that way. Guns not necessarily. believe people are bad, not guns. I mean, because, you don't need a gun to do terroristic threats. That's why my thumbnail has the picture of the bomb that was left in the toilet. Um, right here, I'll show you. This is what I evacuated Fred Meyer's Saturday. This happened to me. I was walking into a store where a young juvenile male decided to put this into the toilet, and the entire store was evacuated. So people are bad, not guns, not bombs. That's just my opinion. So yeah, that's I just been full of thought. I can handle the trauma related to the grocery store thing that just happened to me on Saturday and the shooting that happened at the store across the street years ago. I can deal with that trauma. I just feel bad for other people that are scarred for life with, like, the young children, young kids at the Colorado school shooting. Um, let's see. Benny says it's odd too because the dude who shot Charlie was a old dude like in his 50s or 60s. Actually, no, that guy was just distracting. He was charged with obstructing uh, the investigation. He was just distraction. What happened was it's a younger person, possibly a male or female. We're not sure. I possibly think it might be a female, just with the body build. But the FBI has released that they have a person of suspect that they've tracked that is a young person. Violence is never the answer when you have hate involved, and that can apply to war too in many ways, but that's a little bit too deep to talk about that. Pikachu says, uncertainly, but we must not stay worried. No, it's don't stay worried. However, when you're face to face with stuff like that, involved in it, around it, it does stick with you. I don't walk into grocery stores at ease in Fairbanks, Alaska, very easily, especially now after two things have happened in our town. So it's always in the back of my mind, always. So it's instinct reaction. I always have my instinct and guards up. Benny says, "Wow, that's crazy." Yeah, that that I think they said it was an 81 millimeter unarmed bomb. I think that's what they said. But still, the mere fact that that type of terrorism was put into our community by a young male juvenile, just makes me, I don't know. It just, violence is never the answer in so many ways. Okay, let me get a sip of coffee. Pikachu, maintaining faith and be kind to anyone. And we never know what's going to happen, but we know we can keep our faith in Jesus, and in the end, all will be well. I kind of agree and disagree with that. Just the mere fact that I've been involved in some other traumatic violence in my past. So you can lean on faith, but you also have to lean on your gut instincts, which again comes from faith, to react, instinctual reaction to fight for your life. So that's why I say I agree and disagree, because both come into play, but then you can also say that your instincts come from faith. So I that's why I say I agree, disagree. Soups, UK has knives. Yeah, you have a knife problem, definitely. My son always talks about that. That's one of the problems the UK has. Pikachu says, yes, Soups. And Benny says, oh, well, that's what I hear. Yes, they had that old guy in custody, but he was a distractor. He was trying to distract the police from getting to the direction of the shooter. Possible transgender. That's what I'm thinking, Pikachu, because the build seems a little bit more effeminate build, but trying to disguise as a guy. That's kind of what I think. Benny says it sucks for his kids and wife. Yes, exactly. That is something that is going to lead to a lifelong traumatic side effects. Um, let's see. Ikimon says, I love the nature feel you bring. Oh, thank you. And your shirt reminds me of Dr. Pepper. Oh, it says Valdez, but you're right, Dr. Pepper. Soups, just try not to succumb to all the rhetoric. We all know nothing about it all exactly. I just was basing it on the how for me how trauma, I mean how violence in my life has led to a traumatic kind of lingering back of your head is always there. Um, and I feel bad, really bad for, like I said, the people that were around all of this, from the everything that's been happening, from the bomb thing to Charlie Kirk. Benny says, "Don't be inappropriate." Oh yeah, we got somebody being inappropriate. Let me see. Ah, yes, I see. Okay. Thanks, Benny. Soup says, or Tom, I've never heard of the guy before yesterday. Oh yeah, he's prominent in America. He's just a citizen. He's not anybody holding political office. He's just a citizen expressing freedom of speech and encouraging people of all thoughts, all backgrounds, all cultures, all everything, all of it, to express their opinions and enter into a healthy debate. And that's it. I mean, that's all. That's what he represented. That's why I think America is great. Where isn't it great? We can have freedom of speech to say what we think. We could be hateful, but it should not lead to violence, because people do have hate. That's a normal emotion. Benny, you're quick. Love that, says Pikachu. Yeah, lol, Pikachu, says Benny. Did they catch the shooter? Not yet, from what I saw. I saw the unfiltered video. It's pretty bad. Yes, it is. I do agree. Pikachu, I try not to watch stuff like that. It stays with me. Exactly, it does. Nope, says Arian. Blue Bunny, Katie. Oops, my thing disappeared. And Blue Bunny. Hi, Blue Bunny. Yeah, he started an organization, which is fine in America. It's all right. Yelling fire in the theater is not. Huh? Okay. Blue Bunny, I just managed to get out of another stream to claw my way to yours. Oh, we're talking about heavy stuff here too. We're talking about violence leads to lifelong trauma. Sadly, I've been witness to that myself too many times. So I'm thinking of everybody who's exposed to being at the shooting and the bomb thing that I went through on Saturday, into the beautiful Ukrainian woman, and to the school shooting in Colorado. Everybody that was at all of those things have been affected. And that trauma stays with you for life. It's a lifelong thing. Romeo, I didn't know his views before yesterday, but he sounded like a hateful guy. Well, that's your opinion. And isn't it beautiful, Romeo, that you can be free to say that? I like to be neutral. I say I'm like Switzerland. I like to be neutral on politics and thoughts, so that it does allow people to express their thoughts. Everybody is entitled to have an opinion and a thought, and we all don't have to agree, but it's nice when we can all agree to disagree. So we'll keep your comment up there, Romeo. We won't delete that, because, like I said, that's not what Charlie Kirk was about. He was not about censoring people, deleting people. So, and I enjoyed hearing the people that would debate him. I really did. You gain a new level of respect for the people that have the courage to stand up and try to debate him. And so I was happy I was able to see both sides, because I like to be Switzerland. I like to be neutral. Benny, really just devastating. Yes, that's terrible, says Blue Bunny. And Tom Soup says, yeah, I've read about him since. He was quite a racist, but didn't deserve that. I wouldn't say he was a racist. I would say he was, I don't want to say narrow, but he had a specific direction of his beliefs. Not all mine aligned with him, and it shouldn't. You shouldn't align all your thoughts equally with a person. That gets kind of creepy. but it's so healthy to be able to have an open forum to debate without bringing in anger, violence, and hatred, to where you can just, have a civilized debate conversation with somebody who doesn't agree with you. I just really appreciate that in America. Um, it's, freedom of speech, liberty to life, life, liberty, pursuit of justice. Oh, well, justice would be the law. Yeah, I'm rambling, but yeah, let me read the comments. Pikachu, my kid will be home soon, so many. Yes, Pikachu, I realize it's that time, Thursday. And then also it's September 11th today, too. And that's not being quite remembered like it should be due to what just happened yesterday. So I do want to also recognize September 11th is today as well, 24 years ago. That was a huge, huge thing that left scars on America. A lot of traumatic scars from that. LJR says, so you agree with him? He's very decisive. I agree with his freedom of speech and how he tried to entertain everybody, has that freedom of speech, and ask him any questions. I think that's brave for both sides. The person that stands up on that microphone to debate Charlie Kirk is brave too, in my opinion. Like I said, I'm like Switzerland. I stay neutral. I like to hear both sides. I like to be in the middle and watch and learn. That's just my curiosity always, is to sit and observe. So, um, Blue Bunny says, we were talking about it at school today, but not enough. I don't think to really bring it to light. Yeah, it's kind of traumatic for, well, it's also something the school district's not going to try to promote very much as well, because that's just how school district systems work. Benny says, I don't know if this is concerning or not, but I've been hearing some gunshots. Oh, it's probably target practice, but you're not close enough to Fort Wainwright or Eielson. So over here, I hear guns all the time because of military practicing. Heard some yesterday and some couple days before that. Oh yeah, I hear gunshots around my neighborhood too. Usually it's people that are target practicing in their yard. It's strange because in Alaska, hearing gunshots is very normal. So, Blue Bunny, me too at night. Benny, like, who practices at night in Alaska? Yeah, you could hear him anytime. LJR, we have to agree all are equal. He didn't, but that's okay. He doesn't have to. And you don't have to agree. See, that's what's beautiful about freedom of speech. We all don't have to agree. We're equal. We don't have to agree each other. That's okay in America. So, did you hear what he said about Black leaders? You seem out of touch. No, I'm not out of touch. I live in Alaska and I grew up in politics. I grew up in Democrat and Republican and Libertarian and all of the above. I grew up in politics. Um, it's something that I learned to remain neutral on, because I appreciate everybody having their own thoughts and their own opinions and being able to voice them out loud without hatred and violence being attached to it. Um, so, and I'm Indigenous Inupiaq Sami, mixed race. So decisive, okay, sure. Soup says he was only a kid, really. Yeah, he was very young, 31. LJ, can't be on the fence. You have to choose what's correct and just. Not in America, you don't have to. The fence can be wherever you decide to put it. I prefer not to have boundaries that divide people's freedom of thought, freedom of speech. That's not a fence. That's not a boundary that I'm setting. I need to hear what you're saying, LJR. I'm respecting that you're giving me your opinion. I don't have to agree with it, and you don't have to agree with me. And that's what's beautiful about America. So that's pretty much why I wanted to come on here too for my live stream, was just to connect with people and say, well, my first message was that violence does lead to long-term trauma with people that are exposed to the violence, sadly. And I just went through that on Saturday. So yeah. See, Blue Bunny, like, nobody mentioned 9/11 because a couple of students, as well as we, used to have speeches from my teacher's experience of that day, but we had none this year. Exactly. Nothing was said on 9/11, which is sad. But, well, I mean, there are news stories on it, but it's not in the algorithm. What's in the algorithm is the Charlie Kirk shooting assassination. Benny says, I just haven't really heard them before. Oh, yeah, it's true. Um, if anything, this will lead to more debates, and hopefully there'll be healthy debates, not full of negative, charged, hateful emotion, but debating healthily. Like what, I do welcome LJR's comments because you're being healthy with how you're debating too. So you're giving us your thoughts, which I appreciate and respect. Um, Soup says, I'm always on the fence trying to get people either side to not be mean to each other. Exactly. You're like the mediator, the person that tries to fix things. I used to be that, but now I like to be a little bit more quiet and see both sides. Same can go for religion. I grew up in uh, Presbyterian Baptists, around Catholics and Jehovah Witnesses. And then I went to school in southern Idaho, right next to Utah, at Mormons. So for me, religion is multifaceted, of which I'm glad I was exposed to so many things because it helped me to appreciate and respect. Everybody has their own perfect personal beliefs, which is wonderful for them when it comes to spirituality, religion, all of the above. So, um, Pikachu says he no longer has that freedom. No, he no longer does. It was taken away from him. Yep. So, in turn, many, many people there at that event, there's going to be a lot of lingering trauma, sadly. Woodstock says disturbed immature males 18 to 24 have always been an issue in every society and will. Well, that's just because at age 25, males' brains have become fully developed. That's like a scientific fact thingy that my husband has said many times because I have 3 sons. We have 3 sons. Yeah, it's that's a that's a huge group, but you're narrowing down to disturbed immature males. Yes, that's a tough bracket of age for anybody to be in, 18 to 24. So much is changing in a male or female during those times. Blue Bunny and Katie, I'm going to go. Okay, such a heavy topic right now. I know. I'm not that experienced in politics, to be honest. I don't even vote right yet, if that's okay. No worries, because I was hopeful to be able to connect with the young people in my audience too, to say it's okay to talk about things like this and what you really think, even if it goes against the grain of what um, everybody's talking about. I think it's okay to talk in all directions, just not celebrate somebody being assassinated. The celebrating of somebody being assassinated, that's a bit way, no, that's just not lovable. It's not Christian like behavior or religious behavior. So, yeah, young people, learn what you can, um, tap into what you believe in, and always try to be a little bit, like I say, neutral so that you can hear all sides to make your own opinions. Um, so, Tom Soup says they're giving the vote to 16-year-olds in the UK. Oh, 16 in the UK. Wow. Woodstock, yes, frontal lobe doesn't fully mature until 25. Fact. That's what my husband says because we have 3 sons. 2 of them are still under 25. One's 23, the other one's 18, going on 19. Soups, well, I'm 40. I'm 40. I don't think mine's mature yet. Yeah. Dan says celebrating assassinated sick behavior no matter what side you're on. Exactly. I do agree with that. That I can openly agree with because it's just wrong. I don't care who is assassinated. It's sad. It's really sad. Dare I say, yeah. I was thinking of Romania when Nicolae Ceausescu, I think that's how you say it, and his wife, well, they were executed. Um, I don't know. Even that made me sad. And they were really, really bad dictators. Um, too deep. Too deep. Yeah, celebrating assassination is wrong. As a whole, it's wrong. I will openly say I didn't openly celebrate online with Saddam Hussein and Muammar Gaddafi, but I was relieved that they were no longer going to cause so much hatred and harm and hurt on their countries. So, anyway, yes, as Soup says, I was just wanting to talk about it because I've been watching the news, catching up on things, and then I saw the picture of the bomb in the toilet. So I thought I'll make that my thumbnail because that's my little trauma that my head's still working through and processing. How I decided to react outside of the store when I got to my car, I figured I still don't hear any gunshots, so why are they evacuating? And I thought, should I get the video? Yeah, I'm still working through it because, like I said, violence leads to long-term trauma. That was just one more violent thing that I walked into, literally. A bomb being left in a toilet in the grocery store. I didn't talk about it the day after on my live stream, probably because I was still processing it. But it started popping. I'm still processing it. And then all this stuff is happening with the school shooting, with the Ukrainian woman in Charlie Kirk. And I'm just like, I need to process all of this and just, I don't want to say digest it, but I need to process it. It's a trauma. And everybody left standing that are exposed to this kind of stuff does lead to long-term trauma. And it's okay to talk about it. Yes, Benny. Tom is Soups. YouTube. Why is YouTube becoming the TikTok live? I don't know. Maybe because YouTube rocks. Yes, Benny, says Soups. Benny. Woodstock, situational awareness. Exactly. However, when you walk into a grocery store, is it going to pop into your head that some young male juvenile decided to leave an 81 millimeter bomb in the men's bathroom toilet? That's what happened to me on Saturday. Evacuation of the grocery store. And that's so situational awareness. Yeah, I walking into grocery stores kind of wigs me out, and it has since there was the shooting and the killing a few years back here in Fairbanks at our Safeway grocery store. So this really got to me. So yeah, situational awareness. Walmart, I've not had. Yeah, Walmart hasn't. I do. I'm always aware of the exit. So there's my situational awareness. The exit. Which door would I run out? SG, say what? Just saying. Yeah. So a lot's been happening this week, and I guess it's nice to finally talk about what happened to me on Saturday, and then processing what's been happening in the news. But maybe one day I'll talk about the other violence that I've been around. So, yeah, if basically just talk to somebody, say it out loud and talk to somebody if you're going through anything. Yeah, that's probably the best thing I can say is open up and talk. And when it comes to politics, be neutral so you can observe all sides and show respect to all sides, and agree that we all don't have to agree, that we can all agree to disagree. Oh, Woodstock, good advice. Thank you. That's why I wanted to go live, to stress to people that it's okay to talk out loud if you're going through something, and seek help no matter what you're going through. Like, hey, I'm a 15-year-old male juvenile. I don't know his age. I'd like to do a terroristic threat to my town of Fairbanks, Alaska, and leave a bomb in a toilet in a grocery store. That young man, I wish he had somebody to talk to, because he affected an entire grocery store full of people. So, but, and then with politics, hold a neutral ground so you can show respect to everybody. So people that are very passionate about talking their sides. Neutrality is such an awesome thing because it gives respect to everybody, no matter how they think. EBM, hello. 17 people in here. Wow. Holy cow. Well, I decided I'm not going to keep it too long. I have to start processing what happened to me Saturday with all that's happened this week. And I think all the stuff that's happened this week has got me processing. So neutrality is awesome in that context. Yes, Woodstock, because then it allows you to be able to hear everybody's voices, and everybody's voices count. It's just when it gets to violence being enacted on another person that violates people's rights, in my opinion. Violence, taking act on violence with hate is just, it's not good. Soups, I wish I was Charlie and didn't have the burden of knowledge. Oh, you mean Charlie, my dog? I thought you meant Charlie Kirk. I said, I'm confuzzled, Tom. My dog, Charlie. Yep. Well, I'm going to end it here and get back inside and keep processing, and hope that anybody who's going through negative thoughts reaches out and talks to people. Yeah, Charlie, my dog. Yes, thumbs up from Woodstock. Thank you. All right. I'm going to say Kuyana Pak. Thank you so much for joining me. So very much. Let me get my cellular device and say goodbye. And like I said, don't be afraid to talk to people, but don't celebrate assassinations online. That's just wrong. It's just not healthy for a person to do that. Sleep well and try not to stress. I will definitely try to sleep well. That's always a necessity for me, as you all know. Okay, it's 9/11. Let's give our best to all the survivors of 9/11 as well. That cannot be ignored. Igor says, have a best day. Thank you. All right, everybody. Take care. Kuyanak, kuyanak pak. See you next time. See you tomorrow.